People are angry in this country, in particular a lot of whites, because they say the Black Lives Matter movement has released a manifesto of the list of demands of what they want and what they believe. And in that list of demands of what they want, they list reparations, they list educational reform, healthcare reform. Those things, to me, are great things. And I think it's wonderful that they put something in writing to put before the world of what they really want and what's in the best interest of this nation in regards to black people. You know, many in this nation are asking, what should Black Lives Matter do? And in which direction should they go? The shooter in Dallas, Michael Johnson, is reported that he was angry with Black Lives Matter. And I understand why he probably felt that way, because he was of a real radical extreme mindset. And he's wondering why they are not at that same mindset that he
You're
is,
not giving this
and
guy,
really should not be.
You're not forgiving this guy, are you?
That's not what I'm doing. But also what I am doing, I understand the conditions in America that produced a mindset like that. Injustice on a consistent basis breeds insanity. And that's what's happening in America with black people.
You know what's happening? Cornell, I want to talk to you about this last week. This young 10-year-old, very intelligent-looking young lady, a black young lady at a Pearland school who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. She is not willing to support the black Americans that have fought and died for this country. You know what I believe, Cornell? And I know you supported her publicly, but you know what I think? I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father is a retired military service member also, who served this nation well with great dignity. She also has additional family members who was in the armed forces.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman who has had long conversations, as well as her father, about her not standing for the flag.
Welcome back to YouTube channel. My name is Mr. J and this is Mr. J Diaspora. And just in case if you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing so that you may join the family. Now, let's get into the topic of the day. Now, you see, America, the black Americans have gone through a lot of things, and we are not supposed to assume. We are not supposed to assume that everything is okay. We are not supposed to assume that everything is normal. We are not supposed to, because even if we try to assume, these things are still happening up today. They're still happening. There are some people, there are some still white Americans who still believe that America doesn't belong to the black community. And this is what Cornel X is trying to explain to these two journalists, because if you are a journalist, you're portraying a certain image out there. You can't be thinking in other ways, and you're a journalist, someone that everyone is listening to you. Now I want us to watch these videos of Cornel X trying to talk to this journalist, give them knowledge about the black Americans and why it is important for them to be given the promises that they were given, that they were promised. So I want us to listen to the videos, then we'll come back and talk more about this story. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share this video. See you.
Many people are angry in this country, in particular a lot of whites, because they say the Black Lives Matter movement has released a manifesto of the list of demands of what they want and what they believe. And in that list of demands of what they want, they list reparations, they list educational reform, healthcare reform. Those things, to me, are great things. And I think it's wonderful that they put something in writing to put before the world of what they really want and what's in the best interest of this nation in regards to black people. But why are they angry about reparations, Ms. Box? Why would whites have a problem with reparations going to black people when they paid them to the Japanese Americans who were put in internment camps during the war with Japan? They paid it to the Indian brothers and sisters who they gave casinos on their reservations. They even helped the Jewish people get it from Nazi Germany and what happened to them in the Holocaust. So if you helped everybody else, you got a problem with helping those you kept enslaved for over 300 and something years in this nation, black people?
Okay, so take it down a notch. So in 2008, Congress actually passed a resolution that apologized for slavery blanket apology. But race hustlers like in the Black Lives Matter movement, like Jesse, like Al, like ex-Barack Obama, the ultimate race hustler, they don't want things to change. They like the angst. They like things being ginned up. In the past 7.5 years, race relations have dramatically gotten worse in this country because of this leadership. And the bottom line is Black Lives Matter, DeRay McKeeson with his stay woke, looking like he's Jesus Christ being crucified. Give me a break. They are getting rich off the backs of leftists and off the backs of the black community.
Ms. Box, let me say this to you. We as black people don't need an apology in this nation. What we need is what was promised to us. They promised us after slavery 40 acres and a mule. We never got it.
That's actually not true.
No, we were promised that.
And you know,
hold on, one second.
After
one
Lincoln
second.
pretty much destroyed that.
But we were promised that, and we never got it. So that promise went unfulfilled to this very day. You cannot do that for others in the form of reparations and ignore the sacrifice and the suffering that black people made in this nation to make America what it is and say that we don't deserve it. That is racism.
Okay, listen to me very carefully. After the Civil War, President Jackson was the one that basically poo-pooed everything.
And he was a damn slave owner.
And he was a Democrat.
And Jackson was a slave owner.
So I didn't talk over you, don't talk over me. What the Democrat Party has done is re-enslave the black community. All those things that Black Lives Matter are about, except reparations, which is absolute ridiculousness, it's not going to happen. Education, healthcare, housing, all these things.
Ms. Box,
these are all urban problems that are in the hands of Democrats.
Slavery never ended in America.
That is, okay.
It never ended. Let me say this. Physical bondage ended, but political slavery, financial slavery, educational slavery, healthcare slavery, all of that never ended to this day in America for black people.
When are race hustlers going to stop and say, okay, we're not in chains anymore. America welcomes us. This is a land of opportunity.
To others, you sure as hell should write it to us.
All reparations is redistribution of wealth, another liberal scheme.
But you're only redistributing what you stole.
Okay.
So what's wrong with sharing and giving back for what you stole?
You know what? I want you to talk to black people who have successfully gotten out of the bondage, as you call it, and you call them slaves, Cornell.
A few select Negroes does not represent the suffering masses who are still there.
They're all Uncle Toms. No, Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. They continue to prove it.
And they've killed nobody. That's crazy as hell.
Their rhetoric has.
You know, many in this nation are asking, what should Black Lives Matter do? And in which direction should they go? The shooter in Dallas, Michael Johnson, is reported that he was angry with Black Lives Matter. And I understand why he probably felt that way. Because he was of a real radical extreme mindset. And he's wondering why they are not at the same mindset that he
You're not giving this
and
guy,
really should not be.
You're not forgiving this guy, are you?
That's not what I'm doing. But also what I am doing, I understand the conditions in America that produced a mindset like that. Injustice on a consistent basis breeds insanity. And that's what's happening in America with black people.
You know what's happening? You know what's happening, Quanell? There are black and white people that would like nothing more than for us to stay fighting because they somehow achieve a bit more money or a bit more prosperity or a level that they like. But they've got to make sure that white people and black people or any race are fighting each other and they're all jazzed up over something. Those people succeed. And that ain't me, and I certainly hope it isn't you either, Quanell, although I'm not so sure.
This nation, Matt, is at a crossroads. If we want to prevent another Michael Johnson, and I sit here with you for 6 years, and I warned you right from this seat that a Michael Johnson would be produced in America if injustice and police killings were not held accountable, these cops. And I'm warning you right now, brother. I'm telling you, you can take it or let it alone, and you don't have to listen, and this audience doesn't have to listen. But if they don't change, the next move, terrorist organizations from outside of America are going to try to connect with black people who are angry, disgruntled, and frustrated, and use them as an inside sale to strike America. That's what's coming.
His first stop was to an organization like yours, and, you know, the new Black Panthers, he thought maybe that would be the place to go. Can
No.
you imagine that in this guy's
No,
mind, he
no,
looked at you as
no,
someone that he could use to go after people like me?
I put the brother out.
I know you did.
Because I had no choice but to do so for the safety and security of the other members because of the brother's rhetoric. But at the end of the day, I understand what has produced that kind of mindset in many young black men. Don't you dare think.
That's a dangerous thing for you to say, Quanell.
Don't you
Come
dare
on, man,
think
don't do
that Michael Johnson was the only one thinking like that in America. He is not. There are other black people in America across this country who think just like
And
that,
let me
brother.
tell you something, Quanell. There's all different races and breeds of people that unfortunately are thinking that way because there's a fire lit under them by individuals that are smiling from ear to ear, hoping something like that does happen. I'll tell you who wants to see it is Hillary Clinton.
Man, ask yourself the question. If black cops were in white neighborhoods executing young white boys like they do black men, and they were never held accountable, what would you white people do?
Let me tell you something.
You would go to war. You would go to war.
44% more police officers just now in 2016 have been killed trying to do their job than all of last year.
But Matt, we have been fighting police brutality really publicly since the 50s.
You don't shoot them. You don't shoot them, Quanell.
Nothing has changed.
You don't shoot them.
I agree with that. And they should not be killed or targeted. But Matt, that 1% that they say is bad among them, that 99% better get off their ass and tell the truth and get rid of the 1% that's doing these things.
You do the same thing.
Matt, we have been trying.
Let
me tell you something. If these racists on these police departments don't get off their ass and deal with the bad element, I'm telling you, there's going to be more Dallases in America.
Then you and I get together and we'll stand up and we'll help them get them off their ass. Let's do that.
I have no problem with that. But the chief and district attorneys got to be held accountable to hold everybody to the same standard when they commit a crime, cops and citizens.
So, Quanell.
Welcome back. Now, one thing that we need to know and we need to acknowledge is that the fact that there are so many white Americans, there are so many racists, there are so many slave traders that benefited from slave trade, that benefited from suffering of the black community. That one we should not just put it as just another. We should acknowledge that that is a fact. And another thing that we should know that not everything is not okay, because up to today, there are still people that believe that the black Americans are not supposed to be in America. And yet, you've seen what these people have gone through all this time. And we need to acknowledge them and we need to give them what belongs to them. We need to acknowledge that. We need to acknowledge the fact that there are some things that the black community were promised and they were not yet given. We can't just sit down and assume that, oh, everything is okay, and yet there are some people who are still racist. There are some black Americans who are still being killed because of their color. We cannot sit down and just relax and just sit down and settle that everything is okay. If you see such kind of a journalist who is just talking and saying that everything is okay and saying on one of words, and these are people that people are watching them. People are watching them all over the world. And that is the message that they are sending to the people. So this is what Canal X is trying to explain. This is what Canal X is trying to say, that we are not supposed to assume, and the promises that the black communities were given, they are supposed to be given. Of course, we live in a world that still up to date, the black community is still being pulled down, is still being pushed down, is still being depressed. Up to when are we going to still talk about things like this? It is so unfortunate, it is so wrong, and we need to know these things. We need to talk about them. We're not supposed to keep quiet just because you live okay, you live a little good. No. We still know that there are some areas, there's some communities that you cannot just go there as a black person. You cannot just get there as a black person because they will judge you for your color. So we're not supposed to assume things are not yet right. And we should put them right. That's what the Canal X is trying to say. The Black Lives Matter is something that is supposed to continue. It's supposed to be talked about because it is still a thing. There are some people that doesn't see it as an important thing, but it is very, very important. Now, I want you to tell me your opinion down there in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget like, and also don't forget to share this video. Please subscribe so that we may reach 1,000 subscribers. See you in the next video. Goodbye.